An international station for an international city. This is Radio 3. Money Talk.
Good morning, it's 8:03 in Hong Kong on Monday the 18th of July. A warm welcome to Money Talk on Radio 3. I'm Peter Lewis with the day's business headlines. China's economy narrowly escaped falling into contraction in the second quarter, hit by COVID-related lockdowns and the collapsing property market. GDP rose just 0.4% from a year earlier, down from an expansion of 4.8% in the first quarter. Other data released by the National Bureau of Statistics for June painted a mixed picture. Industrial production picked up in July, but by less than expected, and property investment tumbled more than expected. The bright spots among Friday's data release were retail sales, which beat estimates, and the jobless rate was slightly lower than forecast.
567 AM, Radio 3.
The Times 8:24. On the phone from Shanghai is independent economist Andy Sher. Morning, Andy.
Good morning, Peter.
Well, let me get your take on, first of all, the GDP figures that we heard on Friday. China just about escaping falling into contraction. What do you make of it? How bad is it?
Actually, we knew that before because of the electricity production actually was a negative 4.3% in April and negative 3.3% in May, and a bit over 6%, and now making up for the previous 2 months drop in June. So all the cities were shut down. Obviously, most of the big cities were shut down. The impact on the economy was easy to anticipate.
And if you look at Shanghai's second quarter GDP contracted 13.7% year on year. That was the worst amongst all the province-level regions. The unemployment rate hit 12.5% in Shanghai. Have you been feeling that, seeing it? Does it feel like there is a real recession going on in Shanghai?
Obviously, the office buildings and the shops were shut. So hard to see how the economy could function. So this number actually doesn't look that bad compared to the situation.
So are you seeing any signs that the economy bottomed in the second quarter? Have we seen the worst, or do you think there's more to come?
Well, it depends on if more shutdowns are going to come, right? We know that the kind of in Shanghai, everybody has to update the PCR test every 72 hours. But oftentimes the people come to your compound to test like every day if something's going on. So basically. A lot of inconveniences everywhere you go. You have to scan and self-identify. So I think that they are hoping not to have a shutdown. If there's a shutdown, it's going to be worse, right?
And presumably that could come because the Zerocovid strategy is very much in place, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's not going to change. It's pretty obvious. The issue is that what are the viruses spread quickly, and if BA.5 lands, it is faster. So people are jumpy.
And what did you make of the rebound in retail sales? Is that a positive sign, or do you think this is just pent-up demand that's suddenly been unleashed and may not last?
Yes, some pent-up demand. It happened in June when the lockdown ended. Obviously, a lot of people couldn't get out, so there were things to buy they couldn't buy. But I wouldn't count on some sort of a trend because the income loss during the second quarter was very serious, and some of the income loss, like in the financial sector, in the tech sector, the huge wage cuts. So the white collars consumption is going downscale. I see a lot of impact everywhere. Even discount coffee shops are suffering a big decline in sales, I think.
And the other problem, of course, is the property market. Real estate investment fell 5.4% year over year in the first half of 2022. This is really just doesn't seem to be stabilizing, does it? And it's a big part of GDP.
Yeah, the property, a lot of numbers are not accurate. The property, what's going on in the property market is the bubble basically is deflating. And it's been going on for many years. It's a huge one, and new residential property sales for many years were selling at close to 20% of GDP. So obviously this is a huge thing, and I think that the issue is that the property developers don't have the debts are just too high. And the banks cannot lend them a lot more money because these guys will just throw away the money. You're just throwing good money after bad money. So the government really cannot revive this anymore. So the impact will be with us for many years to come.
You say this is a property bubble that's deflating. Can it deflate without causing a financial crisis? Because this is spreading, isn't it? We're seeing now the collapse in US dollar bonds of these property developers. Bank shares have been falling. It's led to a bank run in 4 regional banks in Henan province.
Yeah, I think that the offshore bond market was designed in such a way that the bond buyers would not have any right onshore. So basically, these people just can kiss their money goodbye. But in terms of onshore impact, the banks, obviously, it will be like Japan 30 years ago. The banks will suck up a lot of bad debts. But the issue is that these banks are owned by the government. So the capital for these banks is not that essential. Basically, they keep doing business even if they don't have capital, right? So you're not going to have this kind of snowballing like you saw in the United States in 2008. Simply, the financial system is like a huge absorber of bad assets, and it stays there like nothing is happening.
Okay, Andy, thank you very much indeed. That's Andy Sher, Shanghai-based independent economist.
You're listening to Money Talk on RTHK Radio 3.